ating spiritual teachers in the line of disciplic succession. So join me as we recite the invocation mantras. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasa Tato Jayamudiraye Nasta Priya Swabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavati Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamas Loke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So good morning and welcome again sa ating Brush Bhakti Academy Monk in the Middle podcast, the study of Srimad Bhagavatam. And we are live here in Brajika Village. Continued reading sa ating Srimad Bhagavatam, First Canto, Creation, Chapter 4 na tayo, no? The Appearance of Sri Narada. And we are at text number 14. Text number 14. We'll run through some other verses and we'll focus on other mga highlight. Text number 14. Translation. Yan. Sutta Goswami said, when the second millennium overlapped the third, the great sage Vyasadeva was born to Parasara in the womb of Satyavati, the daughter of Vasu. So we know there is the yugas, Satya, Treta, Dwapara, and Kali Yuga. So this is pertaining sa appearance ni Vyasadeva. So Vyasadeva is the compiler of the Vedas. He is the father of Suka Goswami, also his guru. Then, sinabi dito yung kanyang appearance. So, we'll run through yung mga mabibilis lang. Once upon a time, he, Vyasadeva, as the sun rose, took his morning ablution in the waters of the Saraswati and sat alone to concentrate. So, it was emphasizing the purport, saan siya located. So, it is in Bandarik Ashram. So, doon nagre-reside si Vyasadeva. Pero kung mapapansin nyo, lagi yung mga saintly persons, they're doing their sadhana, morning activities. Siyempre, in the morning. Diba? Bakit ba importante to do our spiritual activities in the morning, my dear Prabhus? How it is so important. Bakit nga ba?
Hare Krishna. Good morning. I just wanted to jump in on that immediately. Kasi madali lang eh. Hindi, kasi di ba naintindihan natin in the previous readings na there are different the day is divided into like 3 sections, di ba? The morning, afternoon, and evening. And we understand from the scriptures that these timings represents different modes of nature, di ba? So we understand that the modes of nature are 3 also, di ba? The goodness, the passion, and the ignorance. So the morning section, being in the mode of goodness, obviously, is the prescribed, not prescribed, but suggested best time for all spiritual activities, because it's said it's in the mode of goodness, and we can practically feel that, di ba? I'm sure every one of us pagising sa umaga, para mas kalmado, di ba? Yung morning times, yun yung parang fresh lahat, everything is like anew, di ba? It's a new day, it's a new life, parang ganun. So it's in the mode of goodness. So activities done in these times, specifically spiritual activities, is very helpful, very conducive. So it's easy to do. Basically, it's easier to do all the spiritual activities in the morning than in the mode of you can say passion or ignorance in the afternoon or evening. So otherwise, not to say that you cannot do anything in other times, but just when to answer or to give a short answer to Radha Charan Prabhu's question, why the sages do this? Because they feel, they know that this is the best time to do. So very early in the morning. So yun.
And yeah, sabi nga if we don't chant your rounds in the morning, you will have to chant all day long. 'Di ba? Parang may sinasabi na, okay, the chanting of our rounds in the morning, it will be less distraction. Of course, sana wala talagang distraction, pero it will be lesser. Pero the rest of the day, pag medyo dinelay mo yung chanting mo, minsan hanggang 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, naghahabol ka pa ng rounds para matapos. Kasi mas marami ng distraction, our mind will be all over the place na, ang dami ng activities or ang dami ng errands. So, better to invest in the morning. Of course, depende sa situation yun. Paano kung graveyard shift ako, Prabhu matutulog pa lang ako nun. Of course, we could adjust, we could adjust. But the best time is early in the morning. Sabi ni Radhanath Prabhu in their previous class, yung Brahma Muhurta time, unahan mo na yung araw. Pag naunahan mo yung araw gumising, tapos mag-meditate, gawin yung mga spiritual activities, mas good investment yun for the rest of the day. Andiyan na yung byproduct na the mind is clearer, mas maganda yung pakiramdam. Just the byproduct nun. Pero ultimately, it's a good investment. So yan. Hindi yung investment pala, hindi lang pala pera. No? Kailangan mag-invest ng time, spiritual investment.
Yes, agree.
Text 16. The great sage Vyasadeva saw anomalies in the duties of the millennium. This happens on the earth in different ages due to unseen forces in the course of time. So ito na, medyo pumapasok na tayo sa ating topic ngayon na um, fortune telling. Basahin ko yung next text para we could discuss as a whole. Text 17 and 18. The great sage, who was fully equipped in knowledge, could see through his transcendental vision the deterioration of everything material due to the influence of the age. He could also see that the faithless people in general would be reduced in duration of life and would be impatient due to lack of goodness. Thus, he contemplated for the welfare of men in all statuses and orders of life. So again, we have the four yugas, and the last yuga is the Kali Yuga. Ito yung medyo latter part na medyo talagang hindi medyo degraded na talaga to. And the Kali Yuga will run 400 plus thousand years. And habang na-reach na yung end nun, lalo mas nagiging degraded na. Ano masasabi mo rito, Navadip Chan Prabhu?
Ito na nga. Good morning, everyone. So, yun na nga, nakita na ni Vyasadeva na yung mga pwedeng mangyari. Sabi nga, Kali Yuga, in this age of Kali Yuga, is yun, age of iron, age of ignorance, forgetfulness, miseries, everyone is unsatisfied, unhappiness, people are distressed, everyone is anxiety, everyone's mind is disturbed, and everyone's is full of yung full to the top ng material desire nila. And then, the more they try to satisfy their material desire, the more na nagiging crazy yung tao and ignorant. So, in meditation of Srila Vyasadeva, yun, nakikita niya na yung Kali Yuga is fast approaching, rapidly. Sobrang pabulusok. So, yun nga, sabi nga doon sa verse mismo na everything will deteriorate, due to this age and yung faithless yung mga tao. And gusto kong iano yung word na faithless kasi nga yung faith is kumbaga makikita mo ngayon yan faithless most of yung mga tao na even mahirap magkaroon ng faith sa government ngayon, di ba? Parang gano'n na hindi mo alam kung anong pwedeng mangyari kung sino yung ilagay mo doon. Sabi nga daw merong sticker bumper na nakitang gano'n na sabing gano'n is if you want an organized crime, then vote. Parang gano'n. So, parang sobrang ano na kasi yung faith kasi or we can say faith in the sastra or faith in the scripture, it's like battery yan eh. Parang capacity ng battery natin na the more we have capacity of battery kasi yung mga cellphone ngayon is the regular cellphone mobile phone ngayon is 5,000 milliampere yung battery niya, it will last for a day, parang ganon. And then it depends upon us how much faith or how much battery we can get because the mercy or the yung blessing is floating in the air, andun na eh. Tayo na lang yung kulang, yung faith natin kung gaano karami yung mai-store natin sa sarili natin. So hindi problema yung availability ng blessing or mercy or fortune. It depends upon us how we will get that. So ngayon, makikita natin si Biasa Dave, yung niya, yung compassion niya, bakit niya nag-start or nag-contemplate na i-wrote yung Vedas. So we will see in the next.
Renat Pabu, what can you tell about this vision?
Yeah, it's very interesting, no? Kasi pag sinabi natin fortune telling or, di ba, foretelling, ganun. Ano yun eh? Or parang predictions. Di ba yung iba kasi, parang yung mga weather forecasts, di ba? Parang ganun eh. Kailangan meron silang instrument para makita yon para ma-share nila sa mga tao. Halimbawa, sa weather forecasting, dapat meron kanyang mga satellite, whatever, ng mga apparatus or whatever they use. There's an equipment. There's something that they use para malaman nila kung anong movement ng ganitong panahon or, di ba, may bagyong darating, papunta rito, paakyat dyan, pababa rito, gano'n, di ba? May something silang equipment na apparatus na ginagamit eh. Sa case nila ni Sheila Vyasadeva, since they are pure devotees of the Lord, in fact, He is the Supreme Personality of God Himself as a literary incarnation. Ang pinapakita niya as incarnation as Sheila Vyasadeva is yung pagiging liberated soul. Kasi if you're sabi nga ni Srila Prabhupada sa purport, because of that, because he's a liberated soul, he can see the past and the future. So sa mga weather predictions, they can only see to some extent, and yes, they can predict, but that might not be like 100%. That's why it's just a prediction. Hindi naman siya hindi siya nakita eh. I mean, nakita siya pero pa lang dahil material, siya it still can be inaccurate. There's some certain degree of accuracy. Pero pagdating sa subject matter na pinag-uusapan natin, Srila Vyasadeva, perfect personality, he can see clearly. That's why he can actually foretell what's gonna happen in the future. Kasi he has that clear vision when he has that clear vision, obviously he can say or he can have a power to um, to to describe that and to help the future people of now, the Kali Yuga, to somehow have a chance to understand the Vedas and to understand Krishna. Otherwise, sabi kasi, it might not be possible. Kasi the Vedas, it's very complex, not for the Sudras, not for the less intelligent people. But yes, the instrument for Srila Vyasadeva to foretell these kind of things is because of his being liberated soul. So because of that, he can see very clearly. And naturally, sabi ni Srila Prabhupada sa purport dito sa text number 17 to 18, ang ganda nung nabasa ko ang ganda nung sinabi ni Prabhupada na such transcendentalists, yung mga transcendental persons, like Srila Vyasadeva, or the spiritual masters, and like that, spiritually inclined people, naturally, their inclination is to help, is to revive people from what they are missing, di ba? So, yung compassion, di ba? Yung love para sa others is naturally andon. So, Srila Vyasadeva being a transcendental person, a liberated person, he can foresee what's gonna happen in the future. Hence, nagbigay siya sa atin ng napakagandang is, like you say, vaccine, you can say medicine, so that we can somehow be elevated sa ating position. So yung napakagaling na napakagandang verse.
And sobrang ganda nung sinabi ni Radhanath Prabhu na sila kailangan nila ng mga ng mga instrument, 'di ba? May bolang kristal, may cards, may chart and all. Na may pag-usapan natin kung tatanungin natin sila kung ano 'to? Nagpa
Pahula.
nagpa-astrology,
Pareading.
nagpa-reading, 'di ba? Pero may pastime na makulit, during Srila
Masama.
Prabhupada times, um, may lumalapit sa kanya, alam mo yung mga Indian, pag tingin nila sa mga saintly person, madalas fortune teller eh. Yung mga medyo less, how do you call it, exposed talaga. Ang tingin nila sa kanila, oh, they could see the future. I want to know my future. Laging ganon. Tapos may lumalapit kay Srila Prabhupada, laging sinoshow yung hands niya, yung palm niya. Swami G. Kasi tawag kay Srila Prabhupada in the earlier days, Swami G. Later on, tinawag siya Srila Prabhupada. Swami G, could you tell my future? Tapos, siyempre tumatanggi si Prabhupada, tapos yung mga disciple na parang na-awkward din na ilang, na tiyatanong yung Srila Prabhupada. Eh, makulit tong personality nito, makulit tong Indian na character na to. Lagi niyang pinipilit. Tapos si Prabhupada, alam mo, minsan naughty and very childish na playful din si Srila Prabhupada bago niya ipasok yung philosophy. Then biglang hinawakan niya yung kamay. Parang, sige na nga. Akin na yung kamay. Tapos tinitingnan ni Srila Prabhupada. Tapos sabi niya, habang tinitingnan niya yung palm nung tao na yon, sabi niya, birth, death, old age, and disease. Mangyayari sa'yo yan. Tapos natakot yung natakot yung palm reading. Mangyayari sa akin nun, tatanda ako, magkakasakit, sa mamamatay, o tas papanganak uli. Tapos tinatanong niya, anong dapat kong gawin? Then be Krishna conscious. Well, that is the ultimate feature. Ayun yung ultimate feature. Ano yung instrument ni Vyasadeva, ni Srila Prabhupada para malaman yung future, yung past, yung present, is the scriptures. Kasi galing kay Krishna yon. And true enough, totoo nangyayari naman talaga. Thousands of years, alam nila na mangyayari yung Kali Yuga. Alam nila na nabababa si Lord Chaitanya as Krishna and Srimati Radharani combined. Alam nila na may Senapati Bhakta, may soldier silang pupunta as si Srila Prabhupada. It's all in the scriptures. And alam din nila na yung mangyayari sa Kali Yuga, like yung mga minention ni Navadip Chandra Prabhu. All the famine, all the greed, all the calamities, 'di ba? Actually, ngayon nga yung medyo golden age daw ng Kali Yuga. Yung first 10,000 years, medyo mabait pa. A lot of chanting of Hare Krishna, Maha Mantra is there. A lot of saintly person is still there. Pero as we, parang progress ba? Downwardly progress sa Kali Yuga, mas lesser na yon and mas malala yung mga mangyayari and would be worse. We will tackle that sa sa Srimad Bhagavatam on the latter 11, 12 canto after 4 years. Anyway, pwede pag i-discuss natin yun. Anyway, ganun yung ganun yung progression ng Kali Yuga. And ano ba yung future natin? Ano yung makilalaman natin sa future natin? Totoo yung sinabi ni Srila Prabhupada, if we did not take it seriously, yung Krishna consciousness, our spiritual life, it will be just a repetition of birth, old age, disease, and death. Uulit lang naman siya eh. Parang, what's new? If you're gonna see yung future, yung mga older than us, nangyayari yon. Then, other details will be there. Yung good and bad karma and all. Pero, who could tell? Who could tell? Only the saintly person. They could see. Diba? And, paano ba yun? May nagkatanong, ano yung greatest way para mabago natin yung karma, yung future natin? Tanong natin kay Nabodip Chandra Prabhu.
Patingin nga yung palad mo. Hindi,
Baka basahin mo yung
yan.
palad ko.
Hindi, ito na nga yan eh, yung lahat ng sinabi natin ng mga forgetfulness, miseries and all. And then, anong parang napakadilim naman ng kaliyugan na yan. Parang nakakatakot talaga. So, everything in Kali-yuga is undesirable. Parang ganon. So, and then tinatanong, so anong dapat natin gawin? So, speaking of yung sinabi ni Radha Charan Prabhu, yun nga yung sabi ni Prabhupada is be Krishna conscious. Yung dun daw sa gulong ng palad, yung gulong ng palad, yung mga guhit ng palad, pwede daw mabago yan. Just chant in front of the deity and clap your hands. You sing for the Lord through His holy name. Then mababago daw eh. And then, and actually it's true. Kasi yung mga dapat na mangyari sa akin na hindi maganda, okay na, hindi na nangyari. Pero I mean, yun nga, yung sa lahat ng undesirable dito sa sa material world ngayon, specifically in this age of Kali Yuga, merong good news pa rin. Kahit na undesirable, merong good
Village
news.
talk ba yung good news?
Oo. Village talk. Anyway, yung good news is yung mga demigod daw, kahit na heavenly yung pleasure nila doon sa heavenly planet, magtataka ka sa kanila. Kasi pumipila daw sila. They are queuing to take birth in this material world, in this middle planetary system, which is the Earth, yung kung nasan tayo ngayon. Because, ito na yung good news. Merong chanting of the holy name. And that chanting of the holy name is the only way to deliver us in this age of Kali Yuga, in this age of misery and all, to liberate us and bring us going back to Godhead. Sa heavenly planet, wala yon. Sa hellish planet, wala yon. Nandito lang yun sa middle planetary system. And then, yun yung great na fortune ng people of Kali Yuga is sobrang dali nung hope, sobrang dali nung solution. Because, bakit? Because Krishna invested, ano nga ba yung verse ulit, Radha Charan? Krishna invested all his transcendental energy and put it on the holy name. Yung lahat nung, alam mo yung nakita natin yung Das Avatar, yung mga incarnation ni Krishna na mga powerful, di ba? Na daanan natin yon. And then marami pang mga unlimited na incarnation ni Krishna. Imagine, isa lang doon, pili ka lang ng isa doon. Isa lang, pili ka ng energy niya doon, which is, we can say, like, Lord Nishingadev, pinili natin. Lord Nishingadev is Lord of Protection, very merciful, and meron din siyang pangalan na Lakshmi Nishingha, or Lakshmi means fortune. Isa lang yon, kuhanin mo. Kumpleto ka na. How imagine na invest pa lahat ni Krishna, yung transcendental energy niya sa holy name, ilagay sa capsule, iinumin mo na lang. Tapos, i-chant mo na lang, okay ka na. Ano pa bang hahanapin natin, di ba? So, yun yung fortune natin ngayon dito sa Age of Kali Yuga. Although it's look like deteriorating, undesirable, very fast approaching, yun merong hope. And napaka-easy ng hope. Na ginagawa natin tuwing umaga is to chant the holy name of Krishna in sweet, favorable will. Something like that.
Ang galing, no? Yan. Rajnath Prabhu, may masashare siya for sure.
Yeah, just one very quick lang kasi yun nga about the holy name, how ang dami pa nating sinasabi, ang dami pa nating gustong alamin, techniques or mga complexities ng Kali Yuga, and ano bang mga dapat nating mga steps na dapat nating gawin, mga guides, we meditate. But the holy name nga sabi, andyan na lahat Krishna is fully pretty much nandyan, fully present. Not pretty much, he's there. Kaya nga tawag sa, 'di ba, sa Maha Mantra, 'di ba, si Nam Prabhu. So meron personality yung Hare Krishna Maha Mantra that's called Nam Prabhu, that's Lord Krishna himself. In the words of sabi nga ni Ayindra Prabhu, narinig sa isang, nakwento lang din sa akin. Tapos isa sa mga sinabi niya na this study of Srimad Bhagavatam or these scriptures is mainly to convince us that chanting of the holy name is the only way. Diba? To parang stop mo na yung so much attempt to understand. All this yung scriptures is meant for us to be attracted to chanting of the holy names. The holy names or the prasadam is supposed to give us a lot of energy so that we can chant the holy name. And then the holy name itself, kapag ginagawa natin palagi yun, it will just give us more opportunities to chant the holy name. So, parang wala kang kawala pag tinake mo na yung holy name ni Krishna Andun na lahat umpisa na parang backdoor, you can say backdoor or shortcut. Forget all this parang fancy tawag dyan. Magpapa-fortune telling ka pa. Paano mo ma-achieve yung liberation, di ba? Or gawa ka pa rin ganitong steps, maniwala ka sa ganito ganun. No, just believe in the holy name, chant the holy names. Krishna came to us in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 500 plus years ago. This is same message, practically the same vaccine, same antidote, same solution. Chanting of the holy names lang. So yeah, very very like Navadip Chandra Prabhu said, yes, it's so dark, this Kali Yuga, full of anxieties, di ba? But one good quality about this Kali Yuga is the availability of Krishna through his holy names, di ba? So again, meron good news, di ba? So again, meron good news, and again we have this very rare chance now that we have come in contact with the devotees, with chanting of the holy names. Now is the time. Let us not really forget that good fortune. Ayun yung pinaka-good fortune sa fortune telling. Dapat malaman mo kailan tayo magiging devotee. Yan yung mga tinatanong dapat sa fortune telling Diba? So, here it is, available na si Krishna. Just accept. Sabi nga Sri Prabhupada, just accept. Even as quick as a moment, you can become liberated into this material world. So, Jai, Sri Nam Prabhu.
And speaking of that holy name, even Jesus Christ said, Our Father in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Ama namin, sumasalangit ka, sambahin ang ngalan mo. Si Jesus na nagsabi nun, hindi mo ba susundin? So, this is the chanting of the holy name. The glories of chanting of the holy name.
Jai, sobrang ano yun, magandang ang mga points yung sinabi nila. And yung totoong fortune telling, kaya nga, ano foretell is to know the future. Pero yung fortune telling, to know your fortune in the future. So, sobrang ano siya, sobrang, ang hirap naman. Parang magkapahula ako. Alamin ko yung mga bad na mangyayari sa akin in the future. Parang, we want to know the best. And sabi nga dito sa scripture, let's read some of the lines ni Srila Prabhupada. Those liberated souls, those are the pure devotees, who can see through the scriptures, can foretell the future of all mankinds. So we have this recording the term sastra chakshus, or seeing through the eyes of the scriptures. So, lalo na yung mga person Bhagavata, person living their lives in the guidance of Srimad Bhagavatam. They know what will happen in the future. And binanggit din ni Prabhu Radhanath yun a while ago na yung mga are the devotees or gurus, actually they're very busy. Makita mo yung ashram na sanyas and ashram ng mga naman nagki-preach or yung mga senior devotees, they're not going there just to relax na. Okay, mag-disseminate, ano na lang ako ng mga uutos ko na lang yung mga yung mga tasks, yung mga services. No. The more they advance in Krishna consciousness, mas nagiging busy yung mga devotees. Why? They're, sabi ni Sir Prabhupada, basahin natin ang buo yung sentence. The unfortunate men of this age are always reluctant to give reception to the transcendentalists, who are representative of Srila Vyasadeva. Mostly people are denying sa third paragraph pa po yan. Mostly they are denying, ang hirap nilang i-reception yung mga transcendentalists. Kaya nga yung practice ng Krishna consciousness is we always invite devotees in our home. It will give us fortune, like yung kay Sukadev Goswami. He begged alms, hindi for him, but for the fortune ng mga householder. And selfless workers always busy in planning something which may help everyone in all statuses and orders of life. So yung mga devotees na to, yung mga pure devotees na to, who are trying to share Krishna to others, they're always busy daw. Lagi sila may planning kung paano i-spread si Krishna everywhere. And yung mabibigay na itong benefit is para sa lahat ng status ng mga tao, lahat ng social orders, lahat ng misfortune mawala. Kasi sabi nga ni Navadip Chandra Prabhu, yung misfortune natin, yung palad natin nagbabago if we are practicing Krishna consciousness, especially if we are chanting Krishna's name. 'Di ba tinatanggal nga nung mantra yung mga unwanted baggages natin sa heart. Ayun yung good and bad karma natin. Ayun yung future actually. So yung bad and good karma na in-invest natin past lives or even earlier in our lives, nandyan yan, naka-record yan, and that will be our future. Ngayon, when we chant the holy name, yung mga unwanted baggages na yun nawawala. Sorry to say, pati yung good karma. Pati yung good karma. Kasi minsan, he will put you on top, pero it will be a distraction for your Krishna consciousness. So, natanggal daw yung good and bad karma na yon. So, yung palad natin nagbabago, yung future nagbabago kasi nagiging Krishna conscious. Imbis na, uy, ito yung mga karma mo na mangyayari sa'yo, magkakaasawa ka tatlo, isang anak, tapos magkakaroon ka ng kayamanan, tapos mawawala. Di ba? Ganun yung palaging astrology. Pero nagbabago daw yon when one is clapping his hands. Siguro feeling ko mas magbabago yung palad kapag naghuhugas sila naglilinis sila ng temple, no? Kasi talagang
Baka mabura nga eh.
mababura. Pag matapang yung chemical na ginamit sa paglinis, no? Nabubura yung palad. So parang gano'n na mawawala yung mga naka-impress na yung mga unwanted baggages. We want yung maging future natin is Krishna consciousness. And of course, marami rin mga hindi genuine na mga manghuhula kasi it's a business. Sa India, yung mga line ni Brigu Muni, sila yung guru and sila yung parampara ng mga fortune teller. they're reading yung future ng tao based sa mga nakasulat sa scriptures, nasa leaves na yon. Pero sabi, ni-research namin yung dati, marami na nawala yung mga leaves na yon. And some of the great personalities, pagpunta nila doon sa fortune teller na yon, sa astrologer, rather, inaabangan ka nila. Kasi, astrologer, alam nila pupunta ka. Kumbaga, hindi yung parang sino ka. Hindi, pagpunta mo doon, alam na nila sabihin sa'yo, nakalabas na yung leaves mo, yung birth chart mo, yun, no? Kasi alam na nila. Talagang legit. Pero sinasabi nila, even the greatest astrologer, yung mga kasasalayan din ni Brigo Muni, sabi nila, if one is practicing Krishna consciousness, I could tell you ano supposed to be yung mangyayari dapat sa'yo based on your karma. Pero alam ko and alam ng lahat, alam sa scriptures na magbabago yung future mo. Kasi you're practicing Krishna consciousness. Binabago mo yan. That's the only way. Kumbaga pag nag-download ka ng Word document or other files, tapos yung software mo hindi legit or hindi mo bayad, read only lang. Makikita lang nila, o tama mangyayari. Pero pag nag-practice ka ng Krishna consciousness, pwede mo i-edit. Read and edit ka. Pwede mong edit. Kasi we want maging good fortune, which is, sabi ni Radhanath Prabhu, Krishna conscious future. Gusto natin puntahan din yung mga next birth and death. Gusto natin puntahan si Krishna. Kasi worse nga yung Kali Yuga ngayon, sabi ni nga ni Vyasadeva. Uh, Sobrang nag-worry siya sa mga tao. Grabe yung mangyayari sa Kali Yuga, no? May pandemic, ito yung presidente, 'di ba? Yung bulkan. Alam niya to, alam niya mangyayari to. Diba? Malamang alam niya magkakaroon ng Zoom, no? Magkaka-Zoom mo. Yung mga tao in the future, hindi sila mag-uusap personally. May era na mag-usap sila via Zoom. Anything you want to
May
add?
gusto, yeah,
Yes,
may
please.
gusto ako idagdag dun about sa ano. Mabilis lang naman yung, yun nga, yung about this, clapping. We can change our bad karma, or it can destroy the bad karma if you simply just chant and then clap your hands during the chanting. Parang may magandang analogy akong narinig about that. Parang yan eh. Yung mga crows na nasa tree. Parang ganun. So the crows, they're representing the darkness, the black, black. They're blackbirds, So parang siya yung mga unfortunate, mga misfortune natin, no? Na nakatambay sa puno. 'Di ba? Andiyan sila, nagpapabigat sa puno, tapos talagang ang dami nila. Practically hindi na makagrow yung puno. Pero once na may pumalakpak ng malakas, and the more you do it, parang mawawala sila eh. Immediately mawawala sila eh. Aalis sila eh. So similarly, parang ganun daw yan. Pag when we take to this chanting of the holy names, even if you simply just clap your hands during the chanting or the kirtan, immediately all the bad things, or you can say, if you like, bad karmas or unwanted desires, unwanted things in the heart, will gradually they will disappear. So we just simply keep on chanting. It's the best instrument, our hands. Kasi pag wala ka ng ibang instrument, ito lang meron ka eh. So clap your hands, Hare Krishna, di ba? Like that. So very
Paano,
very
paano kaya yun? Nag-aaral ako ng Merdanga. Tapos nagusugat, nagkakalo yung palad ko. Mas effective ba yun?
pag nagkakalyo ka sa medanga, mas yun eh, parang tawag diyan, yun. Pang yun eh, pang palakas nga ng palo yun eh. Protection yan.
Mas
Yun na
lumal
yun, magpapabago ng ano mo. Yun na yung
yun
magpapabago
yun.
ng kasi nga, ito mo mabubura, mawawala, di ba? Kasi ang dami na kalyo. Ako nga, yun. So, yan.
Meron ka ng built-in na gloves.
Built-in,
Mm.
yeah. So in a way, parang you can say, di ba? Through chanting, magkakaroon ka ng built-in protection sa material, di ba? Material, whatever, bad things, material, di ba? So, protection natin. Lagi chanting, lagi singing holy names ni Krishna. Is our protection. Is also our refuge.
So we know what to do. If we're happy and we know it, then we clap our hands and chanting
So,
In
totoo
the
nga yun eh.
kirtans.
In the kirtan.
in the kirtan. Yeah.
Sabay sa beat dapat.
Mm.
Sabi nga nung mga students eh, oh nga no, Radha Charan Prabhu, merong Parang 'pag di ako nag-chant sa umaga, parang may ano, iritable ako sa araw. And totoo yun, if ayun nga, if invested yung chanting in our day, the rest of the day mas okay din yung consciousness natin, 'di ba? Parang nagliparan nga yung mga ano, yung mga crows, 'di ba? 'Di ba, parang mas Krishna conscious tayo. Pero of course, 'pag pinatagal mo ng ilang araw hindi ka nag-chant, nakatambay uli sila dun, mas nararamdaman mo sila. So, kailangan lagi mo silang pinapaalis, 'di ba? Alam mo ng, "Hindi na kayo dito." Kumbaga lagi ko na kayong ano, kumbaga meron ng scarecrow, 'di ba? Lagi may scarecrow,
Yun,
may
scarecrow yan.
scarecrow. So, ayun yung ano, ayun yung fortune. Later, yung mga impression na yan, papag-usapan natin yung sa last verse natin. So we will run through yung mga ibang verses natin bago yung last natin sa 25. Sa 19th text, he saw that the sacrifices mentioned in the Vedas were means by which the people's occupation could be purified. And to simplify the process, he divided the one Veda into four in order to expand them among men. Sige, basahin natin yung iba pa para so we could in total discuss. The four Veda divisions of the original sources of knowledge, the Vedas, were made separately, but the historical facts and authentic stories mentioned in the Puranas are called the fifth Veda. May panglima. After the Vedas were divided into four divisions, Pali Rishi became the professor of the Rig Veda, Jaimini the professor of the Samaveda, and Vaisampayana alone became glorified by the Yajur Veda. Text 22, the Sumanto Muni Angira, that this is Angira Muni, who was very devotedly engaged, was entrusted with the Atharva Veda. Ito, apat na yun. And my father, Romaharshana, father ni Suta Goswami to, siya nagkasalita, was entrusted with the Puranas and historical records. So, lima na yun. All these learned scholars in their turn rendered their entrusted Vedas unto the many disciples, grand disciples, and great grand disciples. So, parampara, pinasa nila. And thus, the respective branches of the followers of the Vedas came into being. Thus, the great sage Vyasadeva, who is very kind to the ignorant masses, edited the Vedas so they might be assimilated by less intelligent men. So, ito na yung nangyayari. Narindito na tayo sa Kali Yuga. People are being so less intelligent. The attention span is there. Yung memory is lost. Diba? Yun nangyari. Yung sinabi ko kanina, parang ano nga uli yun? So, ganun kalala na yung memory ng tao. So, sobrang yung Vedas is just one scripture. Ang hirap intindihin. So, you have to divide it. Kumbaga, in order to, alam mo yung pag nagme-memorize ka ng phone number mo, minsan i-divide mo sa 0919, 0078. Kailangan mo i-divide para ma-compartmentalize mo so you could easily understand or memorize. Same concept. Kailangan i-divide ni Vyasadeva yung Vedas para mas maintindihan ng tao. Ay, ito, dito mag-focus muna ako sa Rig Veda para mas maintindihan ko bago to. Bago to. Sabi nga, to read and study, I think to read lang yung Vedas will take you 35 years. Eh, wala pa akong 35 years old eh. Parang, teka, paano just to read, di ba? Kaya ganun ka merciful si Vyasadeva na, yes, kinupel niya yung Vedas na yon, pero nilabas niya yung cream, yung essence, yung Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam, we could read, you could study Srimad Bhagavatam in 1 year. 41 pages or 41 verses a day. If we're doing our pace dito sa every morning session natin, 10 verses a day, we could finish studying, scrutinizing yung Srimad Bhagavatam in 4 years. So that's what, para tayo nag-college, no? So sige, ito yung parang description how, yung history ng Srimad Bhagavatam. And sinabi rin dito yung passing it down sa disciples, grand disciples, grand disciples, kung paano pinapass down yon. So, history is there. Legit history. Anything you want to add, Prabhu, before we go dun sa samskaras or impressions?
Before tayo mag-move on, gusto ko lang i-highlight yung compassion. Compassion ni Biasadig na yun nga daw yung nature ng mga sadhu or saintly person is lagi niya inisip, how can I help? And he sees the suffering of another and he wants to do something about it. So regardless of the position, yun nga yung sinabi doon sa ano. So now, yun nga, he took the Sastra, which is the Sastra is a guide of humanity for the proper civilization, standard, yung Sastra is yung standard of activity, sabi nga. And the Brahmana or the sadhus know the holy book. Yun yung authority natin. So, yun nga, kinuha niya yung Vedas, inano niya, dinivide niya into 4 and then meron pang fifth, which is yun nga yung cream ng Vedas is the Srimad Bhagavatam. And kasi nga yung mga tao is madalas pagka yung philosophical yung pinag-uusapan, inaantok eh. 'Di ba? Aantok eh, nagaganon. So yung Puranas or yung cream of the Puranas is the Srimad Bhagavatam is yung setup niya is telling stories. All the stories of the devotees of Krishna in experience of Krishna and Krishna himself also. So doon tayo gusto lagi natin kwento. Ngayon, yung nature nga nung sadhu, gusto kong i-highlight is one time si Lord Shiva, nagtatanong siya kay Narada Muni na bakit ano pa talagang nature ng mga saintly person, parang ganun. Kasi nagpo-portray nga siya na ignorant or in the mode of ignorance, parang ganun. Then one time niyaya niya si Narada Muni, niyaya niya si Lord Shiva, sabi niya, gusto mong maintindihan, sumama ka sa akin. And then merong pumunta sila sa seashore. So nakita nila naglalakad yung sadhu, nagchusyan ng holy name. Tapos yung saintly person na yon, do sa along the banks of the seashore, nakita siya ng scorpion, nalulunod. So by nature, gusto niyang tulungan yung scorpion. Kinuha niya, pinick up niya, and then ilalagay niya na doon sa tuyong tubig, sa buhangin. Before niya ilapag, ni-sting siya. Ni-sting siyang gano'n. So okay lang, okay, na-sting, okay. And then carry on. Then the next na naman, meron na namang isang pangalawa na nalulunod na scorpion. So, pinulot niya ulit nung sadhu, tapos ililigtas na naman niya. Then before na naman siya ilapag, inisting na naman siya, pangalawa. And then hindi siya nakakalayo ulit. Meron na naman pangatlo na scorpion na nalulunod. Hindi pare-pareho sa scorpion yan, magkakaiba yun. So, ganon, ilalapag na naman niya, and then inisting na naman siya before niya ilapag. So sabi ni Lord Shiva, isn't it stupidity na alam naman niyang i-sting siya nung scorpion, pero bakit na pa rin ginagawa? So sabi ni Narada Muni, it's not stupidity. It's the nature of the sadhu to help. Even though he knows that this scorpion will sting him. Kasi alam niya, may knowledge siya na yung scorpion is ang nature niya is to sting. Parang ganon. So kung alam na natin yung kasi ang point dito is yung we have to see the people, we have to see the situation as they are, or we have to see the people as they are. Hindi na tayo magugulat. Kumbaga, alam na natin, then we have to do, or we know what to do, or not to judge them. But kumbaga, kung alam mo nang pikunin siya, hindi mo na siya pipikunin, parang ganon. So if we just see like that, and also yun nga yung fourth, yung nature ng sadhu is hindi mali yung sadhu. Nature niya lang talagang laging tumulong, and the other way around, yung ibang living entities, nature lang talaga nilang mag-sting or whatever. So in that way, hindi na tayo nagugulat. So we know what to do. So by the knowledge of the sastra, sabi nga knowledge brings detachment. So we'll become detached na hindi na tayo magtatampo-tampo na, ano, yan, alam mo yan. So yeah, in that way, yeah, that's the nature of the sadhu, and that's the nature of this material world. So we have to equip ourselves with the knowledge of the sastra and be happy, chant the holy name.
Jai. Speaking of, napakaganda ng sinabi ni Navadip, yung compassion ng sadhu. Let's talk about the last verse for today. Si Radalat Prabhu, makukonektan niya dito yung kinukwento niya, yung time ni Lord Shiva kapag nag-conceive yung isang parents in that time. Ito yung papasok. So ano yung best ba? Ano yung best time? Paano yung best na mangyayari? Out of compassion, the great sage thought it was it. Sorry, ulitin natin. Out of compassion, the great sage thought it wise that this would enable men to achieve the ultimate goal of life. Thus, he compiled the great historical narration, sabi ni Navadip Chandra Prabhu, called the Mahabharata. This is a story for women, laborers, and friends of the twice born. Of course, ito magiging ano diyan parang sensitive topic na bakit women, laborers, saka twice born. Sinabi daw ni Srila Prabhupada or sinabi ni Manu sa Manu Samhita in the scriptures, bakit less intelligent daw yung women? It is not that hindi sila matalino or hindi matalino ang mga women. So ito yung mainly misconception. Napaka-discriminative naman. No. Women have different kind of intelligence. There are more on the emotion. Maraming matatalinong women then logically, philosophically. But their advantage is the emotion, how they love. How they love as a mother, as a mom. And may advantage nga yun na hindi makukuha ko ng basta ng mga men. Ito daw yung closest, lalo na yung love of a mom, a mother, ay yung closest na meron sa love for Krishna. Amongst dito sa love na meron sa material world. And yung men, minsan masyado silang logical lang. Nakikita mo sa lahat ng mga philosophers sa mga sa school natin, yung may mga inukit na mga sculptures, sila Plato, sila ganito, 'di ba? Minsan puro logic lang talaga. And of course, wala si Krishna doon. At the same time, walang puso. So different kinds. Kasi nga yung philosophy could be much more parang favorable in logical. So, si Vyasadeva, nag-create din siya ng way para dun sa mga tao na like us. Actually, ngayon, lahat tayo belong dun sa lower than laborers, lower than sudras. Para mas maintindihan natin bakit may Mahabharat, ba't may mga story, may mga Puranas, for us to be able to understand kasi we are people of Kali Yuga. Of course, meron mga great personalities na pumunta sila rito just to save people from Kali Yuga. So, in-explain din dito yung Friends of the Twice Born. So, Dvija Bandhus. And it was emphasized in the purport, ano yung mga Dvija Bandhus? Sila yung mga friends of the Brahmins or they were born in the Brahminical family. Pero hindi sila Brahminical or hindi first class yung kanilang character. Yung qualities nila so different. In the perverted understanding of this, people will see this or apply this as caste system. Yung Vedas para sa Brahman na lang yan. Hindi para sa lahat ng tao. But you distribute yung books. So, yung mga criticism ng mga tao. Distribute yung books. Para sa atin lang yan, mga Brahmanas. And yung pangalawang misconception and yung perverted na interpretation nila na pag pinanganak ka sa Brahminical family, doon ka lang. The rest, hindi sila pwede maging Brahmana. Hindi sila pwede maging high class. Kailangan ipanganak ka uli. Those two are the misconception. And si Srila Prabhupada defeated them all. He gave Brahminical initiation sa mga people from the West. And also, he distributed the Vedas sa lahat ng tao. And even yung mga great personalities natin sa line natin, Haridas Thakur, hindi naman siya born as a Brahmana, Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, and others. So, hindi based sa kung saan ka pinanganak, based sa qualities na i-develop, yung Brahminical qualities. At the same time, yung scriptures, hindi lang para sa Brahmana. Yung Brahmana, ang job niya, ang duty niya is to spread it all over. So those are the sinasabi na Dvija Bandhus. Pero in-explain dito, ano yung, ba twice born? Dvija Band, anong tawag doon sa twice born? Anyway, I forgot the term. So, twice born, hindi daw yung birthday natin, totoong birthday natin. Iba daw yung birthday talaga. Yung seed giving ceremony or Garbana Samskara. Garbadana Samskara. Saka yung second na birth natin is yung initiation. So ano ba yung Garbadana Samskar? And in connection sa kunento ni Radhanath Prabhu na every Shiva Muhurta, ito yung mangyayari. Paano mo ma-invite si Radhanath Prabhu mag-explain sa atin yan?
Explain konti lang kasi konti lang
Oo.
din alam ko dun eh. No, pero yun nga, yung dinidescribe dito, yung twice born. Ano yun eh, yung kailangan ma-achieve. Kasi pag sinabi mong twice born, yun nga, sinabi ni Rajnaran Babu. Hindi lang yung birth ang pinag-uusapan, na yung how you came out, di ba, from the womb. It's not only that, there's a natural progression. What happens next? Sa ibang cultures, yung tawag yun mga rites mga ganun. So, yung Garbhadana Samskara, yun yung basically, in essence, preparation yun ng couple bago sila mag-conceive. If I understand even just a little bit about it, it's basically to control the mind. So how you control the mind? You chant a lot of Krishna's holy names. At least sa ating practitioners ng sa Vaishnava tradition natin na tinuro sa atin. Dapat ganun eh. Kasi ang kailangan mawala sa conception, when the couple engages in the conception, is yung mentality na enjoyment eh. Because even si Krishna, he said that he is the sex life. And sabi niya sa Bhagavad Gita, he is sex life, which is not contradictory to religious principles. So these sexual activities, if it's done solely for the purpose of inviting a soul, a good soul, then there's nothing wrong. Ang nangyayari kasi in the modern you can say age, it's only being done for basically for pleasure. So anyway, the Garbhadana Samskara is supposed to it's meant to control that enjoying propensity while engaging in that sexual activity. But more importantly, it's done to conceive a child. So it's in a way it's regulated, 'di ba? Parang ganun. And Garbhadana Samskara, yes, it's done. It's samskara nga. So from the very beginning, yun ang ini-impress natin. Yung impression na unang ginagawa to invite a good soul to take birth or to enter the womb. And then yun nga, after that, when the child is born, when that is done, then another thing is being done. Madami samskaras pwede rin mag-speak si Navadip Chandra about this, yung mga samskaras na ginagawa, like of course yung pinag-usapan natin Garbhadana Samskara, and then meron ding first grain ceremony, and then the wedding ceremony, and the initiation ceremony. So these ceremonies, these samskaras is supposed to meant to impress the culture to a person, so that he will be attached to Krishna. In essence, all these samskaras is to know Krishna, and then to be attached to that, to really impress the heart with Krishna consciousness. So ayun yung understanding ko about the Garbhadana Samskara. So you can say na anybody na nag-take birth without consideration of this Garbhadana Samskara, which is, you can say, practically say, all of us here, or 99.9% of us here in the material world now, it's basically not even we're not twice born. We are very unfortunate products of this Kali Yuga. So we are very unfortunate, but also fortunate enough to now come in contact with devotees. Like sinabi nga ni Rajacharan Prabhu, that's the misconception. That misconception that only brahmanas have the right for this culture, this is scriptures and blah blah blah. But yes, Srila Prabhupada was totally against it. Parang yung analogy na yung iron and the fire, by constant association with the fire, the iron can also become a fire. He will also have that quality of a fire. So it's not what you are when you were born, it's what you want to become. Parang what you become. So by constant association, one develops this qualities of a brahmana or different, diba? Depending sa qualities, it's not by birth. It's totally dependent on the qualities you acquire, and then you are entitled for that. So if you're a Brahminical, if you're administrator, or you're a working class, then there's nothing wrong with that. This Krishna also who established this varna and ashram, the status and the classes of men. But I would just like to add, may sinabi si Navajip Chandra Prabhu kanina. May naalala ako, ang galing. Kasi sinabi niya nga, of course, the Srila Vyasadeva, their nature is to help. And then the scriptures are there as guide, di ba, for the humankind. So that they can prepare themselves to go to a higher plane, to evolve to a higher consciousness. Ang galing nung may very interesting lang ako narinig na of course we're talking about scriptures, no, so Bible is also one of them. May magaling lang ako na narinig na yung sabi nila yung Bible abbreviation daw yan. I don't know if it's true, but I thought it was interesting in connection to this being a guide or manual. Diba sabi nila yung Bible, Bible, sabi basic instructions before leaving earth. Ang galing, di ba? Parang yes. I thought something very interesting in narinig kasi it's good, di ba? Kasi we're talking about parang manual for society, manuals for humankind. Just like anything, sabi nga ni Guru Maharaj, di ba? Anything you buy now practically comes with a guidebook or a manual. So these scriptures, the Bible, basic instructions before leaving earth. Ang galing di ba? So all these are meant for us to go back home, back to Krishna. And similarly, ganun din yung ginawa ni Srila Vyasadeva. Kaya niya dinivide and kaya nagkaroon ng yung pinag-uusapan natin, yung itihasas, the storytelling. Actually, itihasas. May isa pang magaling na narinig ako sa Hong Kong yata, hindi pa I remember ko. Like, siya, Sanskrit scholar siya actually. Sabi niya yung itihasas, if you divide the words iti, ha, asya, ang ibig sabihin sa English nun is that way it was. That way it was. Iti, ha, asya. But basically, what it means is history. So, andun pumapasok yung sinasabi nilang fifth Vedas. The histories, the authorized histories, and ng mga stories about Krishna, Mahabharata, diba? Yung mga ganun. So, that is the fifth Veda, the Itihasya Purana. So yeah, that's sorry, medyo napatagal pero I thought it was very interesting.
And sobrang ganda, no? We will learn more about Garbhadana Samskar and how to do this. If may tanong kayo, tanong niyo si Navadip Chandra Prabhu. And habang tumatagal palagi, lalong gumaganda yung topic. Lalong na bibitin tayo sa oras. But tomorrow, we will discuss, siyempre, si Vyasadeva, kinumpile na to mga to. He was depressed after niya gawin to. He was despondent. He was so unsatisfied. Bakit nangyayari to? After lahat ng project na ginawa ko to lahat ng Vedas. Hindi ako masaya. Dapat parang ang saya natin pag may nagawa, di ba? Then, it will come. He will have a darshan with his spiritual master, Narada Muni. I-discuss natin yung bukas. Pero ngayon, maraming salamat for joining our Braj Bhakti Academy Monk in the Middle podcast in the study of Srimad Bhagavatam. The future is here. So if you want to know the future, get your copies now.
Ang gandang tagline nun sa sa Bhagavatam classes mo, the future is here.
The future is here, di ba?
Kung yung Village Talk podcast natin, there's good news here. Also dito sa may good news, pero ang galing the future is here.
The future is here, di ba? Para malaman mo mangyayari. And I'm your servant, Radha Charandas.
And Navadvipa Chandra Das.
Just
Servant of the
collectively.
servant also.
Yeah. Just my name is Radhanathas. Dapat wala na tayong ganto-ganto mga pangalan pa eh.
Para sa mga bagong
Pero
listeners daw,
yeah.
yan.
Okay,
And
okay.
Thank you,
kita-kita
thank you.
tayo, lipat tayo sa room ni Guru Maharaj, 8 o'clock. And wag kayong
Mm.
mawala. Tonight, 7 o'clock p.m. will be the good news, the village talk. So, stay tuned sa mga announcement natin. And of course, same room lang din naman yun if you know the drill. Hare Krishna, everyone. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Premanand.
Yeah.
Haribol. So, know the future. Change your future by chanting Hare Krishna. And be happy. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Merry Christmas.